All right, so tell me if I have this number correct. You started gambling, playing poker at 16?
Right around 16,
Is that
17, yeah.
okay? And it sounds like you really loved the competition side and the aspects of probability and numbers. And so you kept going with it. You left high school and you started playing full time. Take us back to that time and your parents. How did they feel about this newfound love and the fact that you were already starting to make a living at such a young age?
Right. So my parents, were typical European parents from Romania. And my mother was like, she didn't understand it. And she's like, Daniel, forget about the poker. You go to school.
Right.
And I was like, I was a very cocky, kid as a teenager. And I'd be in class, and it wasn't difficult. School was never a problem for me, especially mathematics. And I would look at my teacher and I'd have this idea in my head. I'm like, I make more money than you do now at 17 by playing poker. So why should I listen to you? I was very
Yep.
arrogant, if you will, to say the least. So, I knew then that if I had to fall back on school or something like that, I always could. But poker was a passion. I've always had a competitive mindset, and I wasn't going to make it in the NBA or the NHL, and I was too tall to be a jockey. So that didn't leave me a lot of options, but poker satisfied that competitive urge for sure.
I had to look up how to play poker, and what I found so interesting is that it's has to do with math and with skill in terms of understanding people. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's many facets to playing poker, right? First and foremost is the fundamentals of the game, right? Everything is probability based. There's 52 cards in the deck, right? Well, what are the odds that one of the cards you need comes on the next card? Well, there's 14 of them of 42. So now you do that math. Now you're doing, pot odds calculation. There's $1,000 in the pot. My opponent's bet 300. I'm getting about 3-1. Compare that to, the odds of me catching my card. Then you factor in, all right, what type of hand does my opponent play in these situations? Are they someone who bluffs a lot? Can I get anything from their physical nature in terms of the way that they're sitting or they're standing or any body language tells? So there's a wide variety of things that can make you a skilled poker player, but it combines, for the most part, understanding basic mathematical, fundamentals of the game, as well as sort of people reading skills and getting inside people's head in terms of how they think.
Mm-hmm. So am I right? The pictures that I've seen of you at the table, you're not much of a sunglass guy. While the other ones,
no, I'm heavily opposed to sunglasses. Yeah.
Yeah, I never saw any on you. And the way you're describing it's like it completely removes when they wear the sunglasses and a whole aspect of the game. And
Yes,
so it feels
no.
like cheating.
Yes and no. So they can cover their eyes, but I find that a lot of people who wear sunglasses have this sort of aura that they believe that they're protective. Like, well, you can't see my eyes. Yeah, but I can see your neck. I can see your fingers as they press into the felt. I can see your body posture. I can see your heart rate. I can see all those other things, right? So you may be blocking one thing, but that doesn't mean that you're immune to being, giving away body language information.
Right.
I'm an actress by trade, and so tell me what you've had to teach yourself in terms of how you present to other people so that they won't know what you're thinking or feeling. I actually have to do the opposite as an actor. I'm supposed to project what I'm thinking and feeling, but sort of. But anyway, so tell me what you've learned.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. You bring up, being an actress, and it reminds me of a story real quickly I'll tell. When I was playing the pot with Tobey Maguire, who you guys know from Spider-Man films and whatever, and he's an avid poker player. And I remember as he was learning, and I was talking to him a little bit about poker, we were in a cash game, and there was a situation where he bet a lot of money in the end, and I started counting because we were using real money. I started counting my money like I was going to call, and he reached for his cards to turn them face up really quickly. Well, when someone does that, that's a sign that they're excited about their hand, they're happy with it, and that they have a very good hand, right? So, because if they didn't, they'd be like, ugh, this isn't good. So I see that, I take my money, I put it away, he shows me a complete bluff. And then I think to myself, wow, his acting skills extend to the poker table. That was pretty darn good. But in terms of things I've learned, I've learned a lot about how other people, sort of deal with adversity and when they're stressed, like what sort of things to look for. I've always been a very talkative player at the table because that's my comfort zone when I'm talking. And I know that it makes my opponents uncomfortable and they give away things that I don't typically do. So one of the things I learned is just sort of how to pry information by misdirection and also by just doing a lot of jibber jabber.
So, like, what are you talking? News of the day, not the game, just other conversations about anything.
Well, sometimes. So that's leading up. Say, for example, you sitting at a poker table for 8 to 10 hours with somebody. The more information I know about somebody, the more I'll be able to understand how they think, right? So, like, what do you do for a living? Okay, well, I'm a Sunday school teacher. Okay. Possible link to maybe she thinks bluffing is immoral, so maybe she won't bluff as much, right? And then you're like, what do you do? I'm a lawyer. I'm like, okay, so you're like a twister of the truth. You're a bluffer. You're full of it. You're going to try to be tricky and, and screw with my head and stuff like that. So that's stuff I would do outside of, when a hand is actually being played. During the hand, I often talk aloud where I'm not even looking at the person. So I might be looking over to the left, talking to somebody else, but I can't believe I do this to myself. I always put myself in these stupid situations. Out of the corner of my eye, I'm watching my opponent to get a reaction. Are they comfortable? Are they giggling? If I say sort of the strength of my hand, does that affect how their body posture changes? I remember one spot, there was a guy, I was talking to someone else doing that. He was giggling, right? And then I mentioned, well, but maybe he only has ace jack. And he did. And his smile went to like, ooh, like, ha. So I made the call, and was right. So there's a lot of, subtle things you can do to get information. But like, again, the more you know about someone's daily life, the more you're going to know how they approach poker.
So thank you so much for tuning in today. If we helped you in any way, then click the subscribe button and let's keep hanging out together. We have so much more to share with you.
And if you need more information on actually making the switch for good, please visit us at switchforgood.org for loads of info. And you can subscribe to our mailing list where you will receive all sorts of super cool gifts, discount codes to our very fave dairy-free products, and a lifetime of powerful health tips.
So join us on the journey to switch for good. This is the future.